What did he deliver?
Marvelous. They're gonna wake the kids. We still have to name them. I like Nemo.
Time for school!
All right, we're excited. It's your first day of school, Nemo. Ready to learn, to get some knowledge. Now, what's the one thing we remember before we head out from here?
The ocean's not safe, so we have to check if the coast is clear.
Right. No singing. No singing, please. Well, that song is going to be stuck in my head.
Look, there's a shiny thing. Hey, that looks interesting.
Please, Dory, try to stay on task.
It says P. Sherman 42, Wallaby Way, Sydney.
I guess it's nothing. No, Dory, that's the mask.
Yay, we did it! Hey, Broadway World. My name is Lexi Friedel, and I'm playing Dory in Finding Nemo the musical. And here she is. We have two kind of bicycle handle-looking things down here. And I use my right hand for both the mouth and the eyes. My pointer finger for the eyes, the rest of my hand for the mouth. So they work together like that. And then this hand down here kind of creates the swimming motion of the fish. And so she looks like she's swimming. We have our theater seats about 1,600 people, and we fill it pretty much every show. Actually, probably more than that every show. It's 4 times a day, and so we do up to 4 shows a day, 2 to 4 shows. And you know, it's probably for a lot of people their first, you know, theatrical experience of this size. So I think that's pretty amazing. I mean, some of these kids have never seen anything like this. So that's pretty cool. Well, we auditioned for the show in May, and I immediately fell in love with this role. I got the music, the Just Keep Swimming song, and I thought it was hilarious. And I'd never heard anyone sing it before. So it was really fun to go into the audition and just get to play. We had such a good time. We laughed. And so, you know, came down here in September, rehearsed for a couple months. I think the hardest part was the puppet, learning how to, you know, make her work with what we're doing as an actor. But I don't know what I would do without her now. So, you know, we've melded. Worked with a couple puppets in some auditions before, so I knew a little bit about it, but never anything like this particular kind of puppet. You know, they were made by Michael Curry, who did The Lion King.
Pixar uses a very sort of wonderful, gooey, gelatinous quality to their animation, too. So I wanted that. So this is the reason we used the inflatable bodies, but I needed the expression, mechanical control of the head. So this is carbon fiber. It's a very lightweight space-age material, and then transitioning to a stretch spandex with a little fan in it. And so down here you have 2 simple handles. One of them is operating the mouth, and one of them is operating the eyes. And they're ambidextrous because at different times we stage it left and right hand. And then we train the actors just to keep a little life in there, like they're suspended in water, and then when they swim to really amp up that.
And I'd never worked with anything like this, or, you know, blinks and a mouth in one hand. So I think that was the hardest part, is learning how to talk and blink. That's simple. Definitely flying with the puppet upside down and singing is difficult, but it's, you know, it's fun now.
Just keep swimming, everything will be okay. Just keep swimming, your tail, and sure enough we'll find our way. Oh, sometimes things look bad, then poof, the moment is gone. And what do? We just keep swimming on.
I had a wonderful time creating the show. We had the best creative team. You could ask for Peter Brocious, and John Carafa came down to stage and direct, and, you know, obviously our composers are amazing. So we had such an awesome team, and also, you know, we were double cast in the show, so it was really neat to be able to work with your partner to create something, and, you know, especially with the puppet, because you can sit out there and see what works and what doesn't work. So that was a really interesting experience as well.
I think what will be one of the great surprises is how wonderfully touching the story is, how emotionally true it is. I guarantee they'll leave singing every song. The songs are so gorgeous and so infectious and just land in your brain and don't let go. And they'll be laughing with the antics of their favorite characters, and I think also they'll be, I just hope, taken on an amazing journey between a father and a son, a story of great love, courage, and adventure.
Started with Bobby and Jeff had written a song and gotten in with the division
that does theme parks
park theater
and cruise ship theater.
And they had very graciously given that division, Annie Hamburger's division, my name. And when they came back, or they came to me and said, "Do you want to write a show for Lucky the animatronic dinosaur?" And I had some ideas. I was like, "Lucky the animatronic dinosaur." A few days later, they called back. It's not happening. But are you interested in Finding Nemo the musical? And I said yes. And they said, "Who do you want to write with?" And it was only fair that I had gotten the recommendation, or they had gotten my name from my husband, and we were kind of interested in just exploring writing together.
Yeah.
And do you want to take it from here, baby?
So we wrote one song as sort of a test balloon for this show that supposedly, couldn't be done, and wrote Big Blue World, and we tried to bring, the flavor of the Thomas Newman music into sort of a Alan Menken type opening number. And
there was definitely a point in our little room in Astoria where we were writing it that we were like, it can't be done. It can't be done. And then Bobby stumbled on this vamp that had both the flavor of Thomas Newman and theatricality to it, and we were like, maybe it can be done, and we kind of followed that path.
And Kristen said, make it sound younger, like a young fish. And so I started playing it up here. The biggest challenge of this thing was never to write, the songs, which kind of came very quickly and easily, and were so much fun to write. But it was a challenge of structurally finding the key moments that really brought the heart and the humor of the movie to this shortened pocket version, as it were.
Andrew Stanton's message there of the world is dangerous and beautiful, and as a parent, you have to let your kid go out and experience it, despite all of your instincts, to just keep them protected. That was really so easy to kind of hang the whole story on. It provided such great architecture, and once you knew that every moment in the show had to speak to that central conflict, then you said, well, we have to have the sharks, and you have to have the sea turtles, and you've got to have Dory.
We know if we do this, when we do everything else. Together, we swim together, and together we'll get out of here as a group.
We had just gotten married, really, when we were asked to start. I think we had been married for 5 or 6 months, and we were starting to think about, how about kids? How about having a kid? And I don't think we had quite made our decision yet, but we certainly were standing on that ledge.
These decisions are made for you. It actually really informed so much of the heart of the show, I think.
Yeah, because we were able to channel what we were going into, what we were going through into this piece, and we were able to basically work on it as though it were autobiographical. We were able to channel our feelings, at least, into the story, and I think that perspective is what deepens the movie, at least for us. It's that feeling of, caring for something more than anything in the world, and yet having to let it go free.
And I think that because it was so relevant to our experience at the time, we put a lot of passion, more than just sort of a cerebral exercise. It was very much from our gut of telling this story. And I remember we wrote the Go With The Flow song during my very last trimester, like the last month. Right. In fact, we had to do rewrites like after Katie was 5 days old or something. They gave us about 5 days. But it was really what I was thinking about at the time of like, how am I going to have this baby? How does it come out of me? And this go with the flow thing was very was what I was thinking.
Go with the flow translates to have a C-section. Very different. In a lot of ways, it's very different. In a lot of ways, it's, opening a show is opening a show because you have something that's never been tried in front of audiences before, and you feel totally nervous, and it's very personal to you, and you have so much less control as you did when you were writing it that you're standing there and trying not to not to be too obnoxious and interfere with the director, but on the other hand, you got to just tell him, So that in that sense, creatively, it's exactly the same. Especially because, from my perspective, it's a larger production and a larger production value than I was used to from Avenue Q. These puppets were, so big, and there's
3 casts.
There's 3 casts. There's
20 people.
There's flying. There's huge, a lot of lighting effects, screen effects, animation. The other big difference is that the audience is very different, and the approach to the audience is really different because it's a big theater. This theater in the wild and animal kingdom. It's a 1,700 seat theater. Not that there are individual seats. It's kind of like benches.
Big long benches.
And you don't pay extra to get into the show. There has never been a show that hasn't been completely sold out, as opposed to as opposed to Avenue Q, where sometimes the goal is to how do we get people to come to see our show. We know that they'll like it once they're there, but it's hard to sell a show with puppets or whatever. With Nemo, you've got a bunch of Disney freaks in a park who are gonna come, and they're always, and so basically the show is.
We mean Disney freaks in the most polite way.
In the loving,
some Disney freaks ourselves.
Yes. What I mean is people. What I mean is we have people who are the prime audience. We have more people than could even see the show that day, right there wanting to see it, and I think 8,500 people or something like that see the show every day.
I remember growing up and going to Epcot like with my choir, and we rode the Figment ride again and again, the Imagination, and that song Imagination is indelibly etched in my consciousness, and
like Small World
too. And the fact that we have a song that's part of that
somebody has to listen to it on a loop all day long, every day of their lives.
Yes. We torture somebody with that song, but that's when it really hit me that we had something, if not permanent, at least permanent for a couple of years, and that's going to have a huge, and let's hope permanent, but that's going to be heard in so many brains, and people will hum it to themselves, and that they're taking a part of us with them, and that's exciting.
I had never really been terribly interested in Disney before we started working for them, actually, and I've gotten I've become a huge Disney fan. I've just read the biography. I feel so thrilled to be a part of this phenomenon that is Disney World and the theme parks.
He's always asking to take our daughter to the Disney store just so he can remind himself of the world of Disney. And I say not until Sunday at 3 o'clock when Cinderella is there.
Exactly.
What's amazing about this cast is that most of them didn't know anything about puppetry, and they had to come, and they were cast because they're great actors, great singers, great dancers, but they all had to come and spend 3 months learning how to use these beautiful Michael Curry puppets, and they're all so good now. But I tell you,
they had to take Pilates.
Yeah, they had to take Pilates to be able to do this. There should be the Finding Nemo musical workout tape. They actually were talking about it because what the difference we saw, we would pop back like every 2 weeks from September until November when the soft opening happened, and we saw these cast members just get stronger and more svelte until like Lexi, who plays Dory, her arms are so cut. because these are 10-pound puppets.
Except for it's just her right arm. Though,
just
right?
her right arm.
Her left arm is pretty small.
But this cast, they work so hard, and it's really, we weren't thinking about the fact that people had to replicate it 4 times a day when we wrote it.
It's a hard show to do.
We were ambitious.
Marlon is in almost every number, and he has this really heavy puppet that's about 8 pounds, and the guy just never gets a break. He has to run, he has to
and he's
fly,
always going, Nemo!
Oh, and by the way, here's some trivia. You can hear our voices tracked in both Finding Nemo and Avenue Q. In Finding Nemo, we are the crazy flying penguins who fall because penguins can't fly.
Blow the joke.
And in Avenue Q, we're the commitment people.
And I'm gonna jump. That's me.
Now, what's the one thing we remember before we head out from here?
The ocean's not safe, so we have to check if the coast is clear.
Right.
We go out, and then back in. And then we go out, and then back in. And one more time out, and then back in. And sometimes, if you want to do it 4 times,
Come on!
okay.
Hey Dad, wouldn't it be cool if I maybe met a shark when I'm at school?
No!
Or an angelfish? Is it true that they have wings?
I don't think
Can
so.
you believe there are so many things?
The big blue world, I'm gonna go explore. The big blue world that I've never seen before. So many creatures swimming around the sea. The big blue world, and all of them are waiting for me.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Hey Dad, do you know how old sea turtles are?
Sea turtles? I don't know.
Sammy Plankton said they could live to be 100.
Well, if I ever meet one, I'll ask
Me
you.
too. Maybe I'll meet a sea turtle and a shark.
I know you're excited, but let's take a little pause. Sharks are not our friends, Nemo. Haven't you seen Jaws?
What?
You don't want to meet a swordfish. You don't want to meet a whale.
I want to meet a whale.
You leave me around to watch your tail.
The big blue world, you're just a little fish in the big blue world. You'll be seen as a tasty dish. You mean so much to me. I don't know what I would do in this big blue world if something should happen to you.
No need to worry, Dad. I'll be okay.
I'm scared you'll end up as a clownfish fillet. We could turn right around. We could wait 1 more year.
Don't be so boring, Dad. I belong here. Whoa! Isn't it beautiful?
Nemo.
Come on, Dad.
Hold my fin. Hold my fin! Just keep swimming. Life is always green. Just keep swimming. What can we do? Swim.
I swim away 'cause I got bored, but now I really need him. Where's my dad?
Hey, guess what? I met a sea turtle, and he was 150.
150! But Sandy Plankton.
Sandy Plankton. You think after all I've been through, I don't know as much as Sandy Plankton?
So tell me, Dad, what's it like to cross an entire sea?
Son, I don't know. Let's go home together. Then you tell me.
Wanna make it 3?
Now go have an adventure.
Thank you, Broadway World, for coming to Disney World. And please come see the show. It's amazing. It's great. we'll look forward to seeing you in Orlando.